This video is going to come out before the Saints vs. Panthers preview that I'm going to record in about 5 minutes. Once I record that, I'll put it up on Saturday and this on Thursday. And the reason that I'm putting these out and, instead of just recording them on those days is because I'm going out of town. I'm going to my grandma's house and, I'm not going to be here to record those videos. So sadly, once again, I'm extremely sorry, but this is like extremely personal family reasons that I don't want to disclose, but I won't be able to make a recap video over the Saints vs. Panthers game. I'm extremely sorry, guys. I've been, bombarded with traveling the past month or two, so I'm going to make sure to record videos to post while I'm gone so you guys won't miss out on anything from me. And yeah, enjoy the video. Couldn't post that post game. Where's my mic? Post game. I couldn't post the post game recap of the Steelers vs. Saints game. Yeah, I couldn't post that Steelers vs. Saints recap video, even though that was easily the craziest game of the season. I was not at home whenever I was watching the game. I was at Dave & Buster's because my brother came home for 2 weeks before he finishes AIT, and then he ships off to Kuwait. So we were spending time with him, went and had some fun. I still spent most of the time we were there, though, going up to the little bar where everyone was at and just watching the game. It was crazy. I just feel like I didn't see enough of the game to rush home and, make a recap about it because, to be honest, I just did not see enough of it. I watched all the big moments, though, like that Sheldon Rankins forced fumble when he dropped back into coverage on Juju. I felt really bad for Juju on that play because he's a young player and stuff like that just is bound to happen at some point, and I just hope he doesn't let that get in the way of his career because some players do, and it's not good. So last week I did another, I did one at the beginning of the season called State of the Saints. I think it was heading into week 3. Now I did State of the Saints week 15. Now I'm going to do State of the Saints heading into week 17, which is the final week of the season. Now, the State of the Saints, where are we now? We are the kings of the NFC, which is quite beautiful to say if I do say so myself. Yeah, I got that NOLA shirt that my girl got me. It says no one likes Atlanta. You guys know that saying. Beautiful. But yeah, the Saints, kings of the NFC, 13-2 record and moving right along, steamrolling opponents at the beginning of the season and winning defensive battles heading into the end. There's a lot of things I can say about this Saints team, and one of them things has to be resilience. The Saints team I've seen this entire season does not stop, and I think this attribute that the Saints have will help us moving into the playoffs. So State of the Saints moving into week 17, a key word you have to remember is resilience. The Saints have been shutting people down and just strangling them. The defensive side of the ball has been playing fantastic. There's not a lot to complain about, in the defensive aspect of everything. They're going to allow a touchdown here and there. Obviously, it's football. It's the NFL. You can't get mad at things like that. I want to sit here and I want to, give credit to the defense where it is due. A lot of people were bashing the defensive side of the ball this Sunday versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm just sitting there like, how can you do that? You have Ben Roethlisberger, who I don't care what Cameron Jordan says is a Hall of Fame quarterback. You have Antonio Brown, who's a future Hall of Fame wide receiver, and Juju Smith-Schuster, who is looking like a superstar. That's too many guys to lock down. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a dysfunctional team, but one thing they do have is an amazing offense. So you can't sit there, okay, we allowed 28 points. And? Are you not going to talk about the weeks before? Holding Dallas to 13 in a loss, holding Tampa Bay to 14 in a win, and then after that, holding, Carolina to, what was it, like 9? Come on now. You can't bash the defense for one bad performance against one of the best, most talented offenses in the league. I mean, if we allowed 28 to someone like, Buffalo, someone like, the Denver, someone like Houston, someone like, who else? someone like, and I wouldn't say the Falcons. The Falcons have an explosive offense, just as good as anyone else's. If we allowed someone like 28 to someone like Chicago or Philadelphia, somebody like that, then there's room to be concerned. But the defensive side of the ball has been carrying us the later half of the season, other than that good offensive performance that had us 31 points this Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the defense, state of the Saints, gets a check. The defensive side of the ball has been performing amazingly. All right, the state of the offense. This is where things get a little more tricky, okay? The offense has been, you know, for the past couple weeks, a little bit predictable. Sean Payton has been calling very questionable plays. I've talked about this multiple times, and I know you guys have noticed it. Sean Payton calling, you know, 2 runs and then a screen to Kamara every drive, halting every time. We went from having like 16 3-and-outs up until week 11, you know, 3-and-out every drive. Like, it was like 4 in a row against Dallas, 5 or 6 in a row against Dallas. And it was continuing on and on and on that road stretch. I don't know what it was. I do not know what it was. Maybe it was Sean Payton saving things for when he needed them, so he was just, you know, trying to do what he could to score points and get by games by, you know, just limiting the offense, getting the defense out there. Dennis Allen has been calling amazing defensive plays, but you just got to think, man. How do you go from dropping 50 every game, you know, averaging 37 points in the league, to scoring 10 against Dallas? I mean, you scored 28 against 20 something against Tampa, good job, and then scoring 12 against Carolina. It just doesn't make sense to me. There has to have been, the play calling there was lackluster, but we've seen a change in that against Pittsburgh this Sunday. A change I was extremely proud of. So Sean Payton went from calling run, screen to Kamara to dicing it up the middle again, throwing it to Michael Thomas on little slant routes, hitting Ted Ginn Jr. I called him coming back in the last State of the Saints video. Ted Ginn Jr. has been an extremely big help to this offense. He adds another deep threat to take pressure off Michael Thomas and opens up the secondary. Because people have to get on to him. He's fast. People have to look out for Ted Ginn. I think that was one reason the offense was so dynamic this Sunday and why it will continue to be dynamic down the stretch. You know, Ted Ginn Jr., deep threat, fast, extremely fast, will light up a defense. He can get big catches any play. Michael Thomas, a big receiver that will moss any corner in the league. Jalen Ramsey, moss him. He'll moss anybody in this league. And that's not debatable. We've seen how he's played this season. He's played phenomenal. But, yeah, they're starting to get things back in order. We've been missing a receiver every week since Ted Ginn got injured. It was Michael Thomas, Keith Kirkwood, Traquan Smith, and a little bit of Austin Carr. I wouldn't blame somebody if they haven't heard any of their names but Thomas. It's ridiculous how we were even, you know, putting points up on the board, because all they had to do was triple cover Michael Thomas. Then what? We've seen how, how unreliable. I'm sorry to say, he's young. He has time to develop, but at this point in time, Keith Kirkwood is undeveloped, or not undeveloped. You can't trust him with the ball. You guys see that costly drop on 2nd and 20 against Pittsburgh? I know y'all remember that. And then, you know, you made it up with the vet running the same exact route in Ted Ginn Jr. and making the catch. So the offense has been a big question mark, but I feel like it'll be what pushes us over the edge in the playoffs. The playoffs are gritty. They are close games that are won usually with the defensive side of the ball. Now, with our defense playing as good as it has been, I feel like we can lock a team down and score just enough points to win games. You know, Sean Payton doesn't want his whole offense to be predictable before the Super Bowl. Who would want that? He's reserving things, taking things slow, and making sure he can keep the offense dynamic through the playoffs. He saw a stretch where he thought he could, you know, just call a couple BS plays, score points. He took it. He took that opportunity, which is why we're going to be so deadly in the playoffs, mark my words. The Saints are going to go far this season. I'm telling y'all, they're going to go far. I don't, you can say I'm a big fan, but like, dude, we're going somewhere. Now, in the State of the Saints videos, I love to throw in a little, insight on how I think next week is going to go, which will be the final week of the NFL regular season. Now, I would love to see this as a week where we sit Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, all the starting boys, the offensive line, just let everyone get a week of rest. But Sean Payton would not like it that way, and he has stated so to the media. I would give you guys a direct quote, but to be honest, I'm too lazy to look it up on my computer, even though it's literally right here. He was talking about how he's not that type of coach and how every NFL team is different. And just because someone else is doing something doesn't mean he's going to do the same. Which, I mean, I agree with you, Sean, but this is something, the offensive line has been banged up. Max Unger went out with a concussion. Teron Armstead has been battling this torn pectoral for a couple of weeks. A lot of players aren't 100%, and we shouldn't risk putting them out there for one more week in a meaningless game against Carolina. I don't know what the point would be in that. But yeah, that's the State of the Saints. I feel like they're extremely good right now. They're extremely good right now. I feel like if anyone had to come to New Orleans, they'd get absolutely crushed if their name isn't the Chicago Bears. The Rams don't stand a chance. The Cowboys don't stand a chance. After what they did to us in Jerry World, they come down to New Orleans, they're getting embarrassed. That's that. I feel like if the Seahawks got into the playoffs, they'd have a little bit of a chance because Russell Wilson has been balling out lately. He's been playing extremely good football. I respect good football. I feel like, the Seahawks could put up a fight, but anyone else besides the Seahawks and the Chicago Bears, I feel like it's just, us wiping the floor with them because the Saints have shown so much fight, so much heart, and so much pride this season that I don't see it being taken away by anyone that doesn't, deserve it. And by deserve it, I mean the Rams don't deserve it. The Cowboys don't deserve it. The NFC is ours. Mark my words. The NFC is ours. We're going out. We're leaving. I'm not trying to jinx us, but I see us coming out of the NFC. I don't know who else would.